Hey NeapoliFans, Neapolitan Gal here. Well, yesterday I did a video, but it didn't come out as well as I wanted it to. It got interrupted, of how to make the dry portion of Bloves sauce. So today we're going to go ahead and recreate this. I'm going to do it a little differently. Actually not that much different, but we're going to use less because I did use a lot of ingredients yesterday to make that. But I did try it tonight. I did mix it up a little bit right here, in fact. I had leftover pork chops this evening, and I used this on the top instead of ketchup or something like that. So I'm going to turn my camera down and let you guys watch. Now the one ingredient, if you'll see in the ingredients list, the one dry ingredient that I'm not going to use tonight is brown sugar. I did find out, you hear that clump, clump, clump? That is actually the brown sugar, because it does have molasses on it. It just got a little clumpy, and you know, it's okay, I suppose, but you know, it's something I can also just, I always have brown sugar in the house. I can always just add it when I'm ready to make it. So I'm going to run off real quick the spices that you're going to use. And I will tell you that Bloves does typically, she uses 1 teaspoonful of each spice and per 4 sticks of butter. Now that's a lot, so that's, you know, 1 teaspoonful of each of these per 4 sticks of butter is really a lot. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a tablespoon each, because I did make a big batch yesterday, but I'm going to do a tablespoon each to make my jar full here, and then it's only going to fill it up about 1/3. And basically what I'll probably wind up doing in the long run is just topping off my other jar. But what we're going to do is I'm going to run these off to you, and we'll go from there. Let me fill my tablespoon that I used yesterday. Should be right down here. I'm not very prepared today. Let's see, that's a 1/2 tablespoon. I may have to go into the dishwasher. Eureka! A tablespoon. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons full. Now, when you use this in your recipes, you're going to have these ingredients here. Now, I would suggest doing a batch like I'm going to do, only because, I'm going to move these off to the side, only because, you know, it does take a lot of time to put everything together, and if you have everything already put together for you, all you have to do is scoop out what you need. It's a lot easier. And like I said, I found that out this evening when I scooped out a little bit to make my butter for the top of my pork chop. So I will read off each of these ingredients. Now, what I have figured out is a 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoonful per, I want to say, so a 1/4 teaspoonful per stick of butter for each of these ingredients. So 1 teaspoonful would be 4 ingredients, and then you have 12 dry ingredients all together. So, and then that way you don't wind up with too much. I did that the second time. Oops, sorry. Ooh, the thunder rolls. All right, so see, I've got a plate here. I'll show you each of the spices as I go. I'm using this for spillage, and I'll put my jar right there. Maybe right in the front. Okay. So the first is black pepper. Everything has equal amounts. So when you're doing this, everything does come with equal amounts. There's no guessing if there's anything more one or the other. You can always add more if you want to, completely to taste. Less of one thing or another if you don't want it quite as hot. So here we have black pepper. Now the next one really can't be measured the way I have them, which is crushed red pepper. I've got 2 packets here. You can use more. I'm just, that's all I have left, so I'm going to toss those in there. That's okay. These actually do make it quite hot, so that's perfectly fine. So we had our black pepper. We had our crushed red pepper. Those are from Domino's. Next is Cajun spice. And again, each of these is a tablespoonful that I'm putting in here. With the exception of the crushed with the exception of the pepper flakes. Next is cayenne pepper. Do you see a trend here? So our next is cayenne. I'm the only one that eats any of these spices in the house, so a little cross-contamination is okay. And goes my cayenne. Okay, then we have chili powder. Now, before you ask me for my chili recipe, this is something my mom left here when she was staying with us after Hurricane Irma. Excuse me. Inhaled a little too much. Next is ginger. Ginger is an interesting one. You don't expect it to have a floral scent almost to it, but it does. That's probably plenty. Ginger's got a nice tawny color to it. And she goes. Now, don't you love my little potion bottles? I asked my husband a couple of years ago for these for Christmas. They're spice bottles. They're nice. They can be cleaned up. They can be added to. And it just makes it really nice. Whoop. Fumble. Okay. So, next is... Now, she has you use... Now, this I do have to be careful with. B-Love has you use fresh garlic or garlic powder. I don't have either in the house. I don't really use garlic powder. And I almost never, unless I'm making ratatouille, use fresh garlic for anything. So this is kosher garlic salt. And I'll show that to you here in a second. And she goes. Put the lid back on. We use this for everything that requires salt and garlic, like mashed potatoes and things like that. Excuse me. Our next is lemon pepper. I bought this the other afternoon. I saw it on sale and I knew I didn't have any at all. So, lemon pepper. Now, yesterday when I had the full jar, this really did look like one of those sand art things. Old Bay. This has become one of my favorite spices because of all this. It just smells so good. Now, I would recommend putting this all into a Ninja or something like that, just kind of breaking up the ingredients. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Old Bay. Our next one is oregano. Looks like it's almost time to refill this one. I use a lot of oregano when I cook meals. More like holiday meals and things like that, where a little bit of spice would, is appreciated. I think you could still see the band on that, oregano. And our last one's paprika. There are a lot of spices in this, a lot of red spices. Like I said, I think it was the brown sugar that clumped. I'm not 100%, but, and then there's our paprika. I'll show you. So, and paprika. So, what do we have here is a nice little mixture. Like I said, it looks like one of those sand art things, honestly. That's only a tablespoonful each of those 10 spices. Put my lid on. What was 10, right? 4, 8, 9, 10, yeah. And all I did yesterday was I just gave it a nice swirl. And, you know, it could be the ginger that was clumping up to maybe the combo between the ginger and the brown sugar, maybe. Because it's a little clumpy in here. And ginger did look a little clumpy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and dump this right in here with my other. And so, again, if you do this, just figure in 1/4 teaspoonful per ingredient per stick of butter. So, that filled it up perfectly. How about that? So, more or less, if you were to make this and decide to use it, if you're making all 4 sticks of butter, which is what her recipe calls for, then you can go for an entire teaspoonful of ingredient if you wanted to. Now, take it from me, when I made this last month, I made it 2 days in a row? No, 2 weekends in a row I made it. The first time was just a small amount for me, and I just had enough to do a couple clusters of crabs with. The second time I made it, I did all the ingredients like it said versus tweaking it here and there, and there was almost too much of the powder ingredient for what I was using butter-wise. So make sure that you measure very well. So what I have on here is 1/4 teaspoonful of each ingredient per stick of butter. So I've got in here right now, basically there are actually 11 ingredients in here. She does have 12 if you use the MSG accent salt, which I don't use. So but I would think 1/4 teaspoonful per, 1/4 teaspoonful per ingredient you have in there per stick of butter, and then tweak it from there. I would maybe try it a little bit and see how it comes out for you. But so that's Bloves dry sauce mix. And now what she does suggest is 4 sticks of unsalted butter. I don't have the box any longer, but she does suggest 4 sticks of unsalted butter. Any brand works just fine. Honestly, you could go with like Country Crock too, even though it's not actual butter. You could probably just go ahead and do that too if it's what you got in the house, or I can't believe it's not butter. Just keep in mind with the Real Deal and I can't believe it's not butter and any of the more expensive margarine options. Country Crock's not that expensive, so it's not that bad. But just keep in mind for any of the other options that you may have out there that you may use, you may wind up spending more than you would just grabbing a tub of Country Crock and doing this. I know those 4 things of 4 sticks of butter, the Walmart unsalted sweet cream butter was like $3. So just keep in mind that, on top of whatever the cost of your spices are, the cost of the Real Deal for the butter is going to be kind of high too. So you might just want to go with a margarine versus a butter, depending on your budget. If you're splurging one night, hey, buy you a box of butter and do it and share. I would definitely let people, especially if you do it like I did, make a little bit of it up for your guests and let them try it first. It's so good. Because the level of spice that you may wind up with, maybe too much for some people, maybe not enough for others. So like that right there, straight to my tongue without anything else in there, that was a little harsh. So just be careful of what you're going to use. If you have other spices, she encourages tweaking. So if you have other spices that you like, by all means, make it the way you want it. Because again, there are a lot of spicy stuff in here. Black pepper's not that spicy in moderation, but it can be for some people. Cajun spice? Oh yeah. Cayenne pepper? Uh-huh. Chili powder? Definitely. Paprika? No. It's the right color. It's made with the right things, but it is not a spicy spice. It's more for color, more than anything else. A little bit for taste. As I know it's not for spice because my husband's allergic to cayenne and all this other stuff here, and these other spicy things, but he can eat deviled eggs with this on it. Lemon pepper, you know, there's a heavy black pepper scent to it, so it could be a little on the heavy side for people, especially considering you've already put in equal amounts of black pepper in there. Old Bay, it just has a really nice scent to it. Be careful with your ingredients if you are sensitive to sodium. Cayenne pepper is usually pretty okay. Cajun spice has salt. Chili powder has a little salt, but it does have salt. Lemon pepper has salt. Old Bay has salt. Paprika does not have salt. Garlic salt has salt. Oregano you should be fine with. Ginger you should be fine with. But if you have someone, unfortunately like myself, I found out the day I made this online that I have an issue with my heart. And I didn't know that I had this issue. I made this food along with the mac and cheese recipe that you saw in one of my other videos, or go back and watch it. The recipe is also there for that. Had dinner, had a bubble. That's all I can call it, is a bubble, all night long. And when I got done with dinner, I had plans to write a letter in the evening with some friends. So I dropped my son off at our condo. I did not go upstairs to take a heartburn pill because that's sort of what it felt like. But I'm like, as long as I'm good tonight, don't actually drink, I'm fine. So I went to the bar, did karaoke with one of my friends, still had the bowl. And if you've ever watched The Golden Girls where Sophia eats too much stuff and she has a bubble, that's all I can describe it as. And I'm an Uber and Lyft driver. I left the bar. I took a drive, took 4 or 5 runs, went home. The bubble got worse. I took something for it, thinking it was heartburn. All of a sudden, I thought I was having a heart attack. Fast forward a whole week and a half a day, I'm in the ER. My blood pressure is through the ceiling. But I think by looking at all these spices, minus that lemon pepper because it wasn't in there, I'm thinking I overdid it with the salt because I don't eat salt. So you've got to be real careful. If this is, if you're salt sensitive, make sure that you've got something that, hydrating that's going to keep, that you're drinking, lots of water, lots of fluids, not alcohol, but lots of fluids to counteract the sodium in this stuff. But, well, I think it's time for me to finally upload this video. I was supposed to do this on Sunday, but I got sidetracked with my mama. So now I'm not sidetracked. I'm going to go sit on the couch. I'm going to upload this. And while I'm uploading, I am running to the store. Y'all have a great evening. Please subscribe. I need subscribers. Subscribe. Please click on that bell. Give me a thumbs up. Comment below. Have what you like, what you don't like, what you would like to see next. I think this weekend, if the weather's good, it's tough this time of year, we are going to take a nature hike. Next weekend, I'm going to be in Jacksonville and going to go to a museum. I might do a museum thing while I'm up there, and I'll definitely post that if I do. Going up with some friends. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I like to hit, keep my channel going. I'd like to get it up a little bit further with the subscriptions. Y'all have a great evening. See ya.